They're very, very different. The Heritage Rough Rider is actually more closely copied after the original Colt single action Army, and Ruger is of course of its own creation. Now it is a single action, as is the Heritage, but they both operate completely different. Now to say that they operate differently, we're talking mechanically here, okay? Now on both of them you have to cock the hammer to rotate the cylinder for each shot. Same thing. But the way that they operate is completely different. So if you look at the Ruger here, it's a very long hammer pull, but it's single position. So there is no half cock option, even though you hear a click. See, it's just setting the trigger, you might have saw it. But it doesn't actually rotate the cylinder all the way and place it into the firing lock position until it's all the way back. Now as for the Heritage, there's a safety position, there's a half cock position, and then fully cocked. The Ruger Wrangler is of course a more modernized version of it. As you're going to see, and it's obviously not loaded, it's going to have the safety transfer bar in there, so if you accidentally drop it, or if you happen to short cock it, that transfer bar is going to take up any kind of impact there so it doesn't accidentally discharge the round. That's a very, very nice modern safety feature. And the Heritage is more like the original Colt single action, is you're going to have that safety notch that you can actually carry this on, the half cock loading position, which will rotate the cylinder, and then of course the full cock. Now the thing about Heritage is because they don't have that transfer bar, it's actually got a manual safety that you'll see right there that you click on and off, and that's unique to Heritage manufacturing. No other revolver series has that. Now if you notice with the Heritage, you have to put it on the half cock in order to rotate that cylinder. Now, okay, well what are you going to do? How are you going to load this thing? Well, it's still in the down position, you can't rotate it. While it's cocked, you can't rotate it, right? But here's the thing, the way Ruger does it, you open up that loading gate, it will freely rotate, just like that. Close up that loading gate, it no longer rotates. So that's how you load it up. So therefore ensuring that the gun is always going to be on safe during loading. One thing you're going to notice right away, my Heritage is way prettier than the Ruger here, and that's because I customized this one. The nice thing about Heritage manufacturing is they have a whole slew of customizable options that you can add into there. You can add new cylinders, you can add new grips. Some of them you can even change out the sights on it. It's really, really nice. Now the drawback on that is the parts are cheap, the gun's cheap, manufacturer-wise anyway. So bear that in mind, you get what you pay for. It might be pretty, but it might not be the best. So far, mine's been a very good quality. Now if you look at the Ruger here, I haven't found much in the way of customizable parts, but this thing's pretty much already a tank how it is. So it's got matte black finish, and you're going to see that the grips here are plastic. Very simple. I'm sure that you can get other kinds of grips for it if you want to get a wood finish or something, but I haven't been able to find any on the market. I'm sure by the time this video goes on, somebody will find them, and that's fine. But I'm just saying, as of right now, based on what I've seen and what I put together, the Heritage can be much prettier because it's more customizable than the Ruger is. Another thing you're going to notice as soon as you put the gun in the hand is the weight difference. It's not much, but there's definitely a weight difference. The Ruger is actually heavier than the Heritage, and you can tell it's just, it feels like a tank of a gun, where this one it's more light and you can kind of see the unfinished marks on it, but all the same, there's definitely a big durability difference. Now when you get to the range and you take the two of them side by side, you're going to notice a different shooting experience with both of them as well. So to start off, the sights, they are in fact different. They're both cut out sights, cut out fixed sights, but the Ruger has more defined, bigger, easier to pick up sights than the Heritage does. And the thing about the Ruger is their quality control is much, much better. I hate to say it, as much as I do love my Heritage, Ruger is 10 times better in quality control. Whenever you pick one of these up off the shelves, you know you're going to have Ruger quality, and the darn thing's going to be cut just right. I actually had to send a prior Heritage back because the sights weren't properly cut. There was issues with the barrel, so there's definitely quality issues, but as far as the sights go, Ruger wins. So that's basic spec comparison on the two guns.